Oh, Jen Walton, I think that might be you. Would you step up on stage here? So, those that don't know the story, Jen, there was a lot of fake votes and a lot of political conspiracy, but Jen barely lost the election a couple of years ago to be mayor of Doylestown, and I'm sure, 2 years it's going to happen?
Oh yeah,
Another 2 years, she's going to be the mayor of Doylestown. Anyway, so Jen wanted to be the mayor of Doylestown. I have to admit, she didn't really write that on a card. I kind of talked to her before and thought it would be a good example. But Jen and I talked a little before. Now, obviously, this step here would probably be to go something like get elected.
Assassinate current mayor.
Put your friends on the next election.
Well, I'll tell you what. That you don't always have to go in a straight line. So, but that's example, right? Get elected. Before you get elected, what did you have to do?
You have to scream in front of your local party for their endorsement.
So, obviously, I was going with the campaign. And there's all these, we can go down how to campaign, marketing campaign, blah, blah. But I asked her, what was the first step that you had to actually, what was the first step you thought you had to do to make this a reality? Was
Screening.
Get screened?
Yeah, you have to go in front of your elected local officials to get their endorsement.
Okay. So basically she had to, go in front of the representatives and get endorsed. Well, can you just stand here and do that right now?
Really?
Yeah, could you just be endorsed right now? Could you just say, oh, I gotta get
Yeah,
endorsed?
you have to tell them about why and your experience.
So I would argue that if you really want to keep going down here, besides getting information to them, all that, I would say the first step is knowing where and how to get endorsed.
Yes.
Now, where could you find that?
Well, I am currently a local elected person, so there's a schedule that goes out to all the elected people when there's this candidate screening night.
Okay.
So you have to find out. You would call your local headquarters. How about that?
Thank you.
That's why I
So the first step would be call local headquarters. Now, do you have to run for mayor of Doylestown if you just call the local headquarters and ask when the next time they're going to have an endorsement party or whatever you guys do? Do you have to? No, you don't. But you know what? You started the momentum. You have a goal. You've now begun the process. You've done your kickback on the swing. So that is the drawdown principle. And I'm not actually going to pick anyone randomly to come up here and do it with them. I just wanted you to think about why was it hard to pass it in and possibly have to come up on stage for your goal? Why would that be difficult? And it goes back to what Paul said. You need to be honest with yourself. And I think when you started realizing you were passing that card over, you were being honest with yourself right at that moment. So, before we end this event tonight, I would like our sponsor, Jen Walton of the Oscar Martin Room, to can you tell us a little bit about this venue? And
This venue was built in 1913 by the same architect that did the Mercer Museums and the expansions that are with the Mercer Museum in Doylestown. And the Moose International actually goes back to 1888. It's a fraternal organization. It's a service organization. And they have two separate things that they do. There's Moose Heart and Moose Haven. And one is a community 70-acre community for seniors and retired elderly that don't have the financial resources, and it's a great community for them to go, and we support that. And then the other one is 1,000 acres in Illinois for children that come from abused households or things like that. Bad families, lost their parents, and they have schools and pretty much a whole village for them to grow up with, and we support that. So it's actually an international organization that goes back almost a little over in the town can be proud of.
Yeah, and could anyone have an event here?
You have to be a member to have an event here.
Okay, so to be a member of the Moose.
Still a private club, yeah.
Now, being a member, could I?
Have a birthday party or something?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so that leads me to say, we're not quite finished, but when we are done, we'll be shortly having beverages and food at the back there. Yes, Amanda.
How do you become it?
How do you become a member? That's a great question.
Is a little fat woman who is a member of the Moose, a woman with the Moose, if you will, has to sponsor a woman, and a man has to sponsor a man. And then it goes through an enrollment process.
But it's very easy because Jen will sponsor anyone.
I will
She's Moose sponsor her. I mean, yeah, I know you're in trouble. Anyway, so I hope everyone wants to stay. We're gonna get some food, have some drinks. It'll be fun. But I'd like to actually close with a poem I wrote.
Oh.
This is actually, I'm actually serious. So. There was light when I was born, light everywhere. As I grew older, there was less light. Darkness began creeping in. I began to focus only on the dark. One day, the light was gone. I could not see anything. I cried and screamed at the dark. When I opened my eyes, there was a small strand of light. I looked at it. I followed it. Soon the light was everywhere. I understood. Without the darkness, I would never have seen that light. That light is my purpose, and I am worthy. I hope tonight that maybe we opened your eyes to see a little stream of light and maybe gave you some tips on how to follow it and see it again. So thank you everyone for coming.